Hey, everybody. I was told to come out with some big energy today, and I am feeling good here in Detroit. So I want to welcome everybody to the Test, Fail, Learn, Grow, the show for builders who know where the real work happens off camera. I'm Adam House, and around here, we don't just glamorize the grind, we get right into it. And every single week, I sit down with founders who have stayed in the fight, stacked through those setbacks, and turned obstacles into stepping stones, building brick by brick. We all know that there's no shortcuts, no gimmicks, and no guarantees that are going to come out of this show. It's just going to be real talk and real lessons for entrepreneurs that have stayed in the arena. Today's episode is one I've been looking forward to for a long time, and not just because it's a story about business growth, but it's about personal transformation. It's the kind of conversation that is going to hit home for any of you that are listening. So I'm going to get right into this. I want to introduce our guest, Marina. Now, she is a member of the House of Bricks community and a powerhouse in every sense of the word. She's a serial entrepreneur, investor, dog lover, day trader, professional photographer, and mother, building not just one, but now putting me to the test, 7 businesses. From the grab-and-go nutrition to the real estate, cleaning companies with a 20-person team, Marina is the definition of a multi-time entrepreneur with big-time hustle. But what makes her story truly special is not the businesses she's run, but how she's overcome adversity to build all of them. So, Marina, I'd like to welcome you to the House of Bricks.
Well, thank you. Wow, what an energy. Now I feel like I have to match it. So I appreciate it. By the way, I'm going to interrupt you. You said everything perfectly. Everything was the truth except one thing. I'm
What
not
is
a
it?
dog lover. I mean, I love dogs. I like
Okay,
them.
now we have an
Cats,
animal
cats.
hater on the show. We have an animal hater on the show. Okay.
No. Cats. Just cats are awesome. That's it.
Okay. Well, now that we've solved dogs are better than cats, I'd love to jump right in. So, listen, you're a member of the House of Bricks community, and I know you've had an incredible story. Let's kick this off. Just tell people a little bit about yourself.
Oh boy. About myself. Well, 42 years old, immigrant. I'm Russian from Estonia. Very important to know. It's actually a big deal when people grow up in one country, but the nationalities are different. So it's very important to know I'm Russian. I came to America about 21 years ago. I have 2 wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous daughters, 16 and 18. One is a senior graduating this year. We just moved 2 days ago to the new city, new zip code, new state. So that was a big deal. As Adam said, I own 7 businesses, and we'll talk a little bit later about it. But yeah, here I am, ready to go.
Well, we'll find out if you're ready or not. And actually, you're kind of challenging me on the show because I'm not running 7 businesses right now. I think I'm big time because I've started 7, but you're running 7 at one time. So I know you have a lot of depth to your story, but let's talk about when things begin to shift for you. You've built a lot, but underneath that drive, there was really something, that was holding everything together. What was that?
I think I'll start with actually my upbringing. To be honest, I think it is a big difference and big deal where you grew up and how you grew up. And I think me growing up in a Russian culture with parents who were so strict, and let's not forget their immediate generation right after the World War II, where women had to basically put everything on their shoulders and carry the household while men were in a war fighting. So I think it really, like, I'm technically a 3rd generation of that. So my parents' generation were still in the mode of survival as themselves. So they really taught me, especially my dad, don't ask for help. This is only you. Nobody owes you anything. So, and just seeing my mom doing everything around the household, my dad was basically on a couch and doing nothing. He worked. It just basically taught me how to be that power woman as well. So I had no other choice but to be that person. So when I married young at 20, that's exactly who I was. I was a woman, mom and business owner and a wife and everything. I was doing everything on my own. So, when first divorce happened, 10 years later, I already had a 3 and 5-year-old. I basically had to stay in the mode of survival where I just walked away with the 2 suitcases and 2 little girls. And I had to move 7 times in 2 years. So there was no place for me to just fall apart or take a break or anything. I just did everything I had to do, and I built businesses and everything. So when second marriage came, it was basically the same story where I just had to carry a man who was addicted to alcohol, first one addicted to the drugs. So it was constant survival, constant carry on people, constant doing everything on my own, where to the point where I actually got second time divorce, I just realized like I can't do it anymore. I can't carry another person as a third child. So that's basically where I ended up today. Like you said, own 7 businesses, and I love every second of it. And it doesn't seem to me them running 7 businesses because they really don't seem like businesses. They're just something I absolutely love, or maybe because I'm just not organized and it doesn't feel like I'm busy.
Yeah, we're definitely, well, first of all, you are busy running 7 businesses. And I do want to point out the fact that you are an equal opportunity offender. So now guys that sit on the couch and dogs are useless. So, I stick up for women on the show too, but I mean, there is nothing wrong with a guy sitting on the couch, right? And so the thing that I want to focus on really is how we are a product of our environment and our upbringing, right? When we come up in that struggle, it develops resilience in us in a way that we're not really sure how it will pan out over time, but it builds strength and character that now you're walking in life. And so with all of those, different challenges that you faced, I mean, I see survival mode really as an opportunity to outwork others, right? You're not outsourcing things, you're outworking people. You're raising kids by yourself, keeping businesses afloat, showing up for everyone, even when there wasn't much left in the tank. And on the outside, right, I've been there, it all looks impressive. But on the inside, I know that it takes a toll on us. So when you stepped into, your businesses, what was your mindset and what was one big idea that you tested?
Oof. I honestly, that's an interesting question. I don't think I had any thoughts stepping into businesses. It's just something that I felt like I should be doing, and something I always had a mind of entrepreneur. Like I've never really worked for anyone in my life, believe it or not. Like since I was 20 years old, I always worked for myself. So it was always a fact of it's me or nothing. I'm gonna do it or nothing gonna happen. I'm gonna build it or nobody gonna build it for me. And I think my biggest challenge was honestly not just the running businesses and building them, but it was personal struggle, most of it, because as again, like we can be sitting here for hours and I can share my story for hours and hours and hours, but at the end of the day, I am a child of alcoholic. I married addicts, right? And where people don't realize, like if you really truly don't realize what's happening within you, what a trauma was at childhood, you're just going to continue to attract people and energy that you think you're worth, right? So when I started attracting people who I thought could save, could maybe fix, like I couldn't fix my dad's, that's where all the struggle started coming in, blame, guilt, and everything, right? So when I actually got divorced from my second late husband, because he had again drinking problem and he almost killed my daughter back then, he got sober and we remarried in 2022, believe it or not. So that's my third marriage now. And unfortunately, he relapsed right there, right then. So yes, businesses were running and everything, but on top of everything, I still had this personal constant struggle of helping someone and constantly waiting on other shoe to drop, picking up the slack. And like I said, almost taking care of another child who was in a house. And towards the end, like 3 years later, I realized that he just would not stop drinking. I asked for another divorce. It was 2023. And, it was bad, meaning I felt guilty. I felt really ashamed because it's my third divorce, right? Within 40 years. What would I tell the kids? What would I tell my friends? Like, especially people like said, don't do that, don't go there. And I asked for divorce anyway, and 2 weeks later, my husband committed suicide. So that's where the struggle started, a real struggle, right? And we're right in the middle of, we just purchased a commercial building where I could move my cleaning services, where, like you said, I have 20 employees, and I was outgrowing the current building. So we just purchased the building. We were renovating. I was building food to go, the fresh food out of vending machines that technically he was supposed to be running because I couldn't handle it anymore. So he dies in the middle of all this, and I was like, what am I supposed to do about it, right? Nothing else but, again, put a big girl's shoes, pants and shoes and everything, and just basically tell myself, like, I can handle it, I got it, like, I've been there, I'm gonna do it again. So I just went to survival mode 100% that I've never been to, and just powered through it. And I opened the business and the new building within like 2 months. And that's where I met a lot of judgment from people, that I don't grieve the way I'm supposed to grieve, that she just cares about the money, she just cares about businesses and everything. And nobody's seen, like you said, behind it, a brokenness and sleepless night and guilt and shame and, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to pay the bills? How am I supposed to feed the kids? I just stopped sleeping. I just was so overwhelmed and isolated because I couldn't reach out to people. I couldn't do anything. So that's where basically I realized, like, I can't live like that anymore.
Yeah. And just to talk about some of the things you said, and I know we have a little humor on the show at times, but, I really appreciate you being as authentic and open that you are, because it's our stories that inspire other people. And so with that adversity you've overcome, there may be someone that's listening out there right now, kind of in that valley experience. And our greatest strength can also be our greatest weakness. So I carry some of the same things that you do, and it's always wanting to help others achieve, climb the mountain. And when you're always helping other people, we often neglect ourselves, and it's impossible to pour from an empty cup. And so the more we invest in ourselves, the more we can help other people. Do you have any advice for people that may be listening that are in that valley experience right now?
Yeah, I have a lot of advice. I can tell people what to do. I'm good at it. I'm just kidding. So, advice. To be honest, my biggest advice that I took of my own, I did it to myself. I just said, and I'm not going to swear on this show because it's supposed to be classy, but I basically said, F it. Yep. That's exactly how I said, like, F everything, F everyone. I don't care what people think about me. I'm going to do what makes me happy. I'm going to do what actually expected of me, of myself, not other people, because I'm done being perfect. I'm done struggling. I'm done building something that I don't want to build sometimes, just so people can tell, oh my gosh, look at her, good job, and so on and so on. So I started traveling more, maybe working less, enjoying my life. And I started not really caring if people really started saying and judging me openly, like, look at her, she's just traveling, she's enjoying her life, like her husband hasn't been dead for like 2-3 months and and all this stuff. In reality, I just got so tired, and I just said, if not now, then when, right? So I think, that's a good one. So I think when people, if they ask me advice, I basically just gonna say, stop caring what people think, to be honest, because you're not gonna make everybody happy. Not everybody, and people gonna judge you no matter what you do, good or bad, they're still gonna judge you. So might as well do what makes you happy. Don't be perfect. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? And like, I didn't build my life from a textbook. Basically, I built it from experiences, from pain, from instinct, from nothing, basically, right? I just started telling myself that all those things that made less me, like college dropouts, being immigrant, being a woman with a baggage, with 2 kids, with 3 divorces, like, who would ever be with me ever again? Being this, immigrant with, like I said, no perfect English, who possibly just feels constantly not home, not included, not fit in. But that's why I think I'm trying to build a personal brand where I can really help women, especially who grew up in a house of alcohol abuse or anything like that, who maybe married that like I did, who possibly are trying to hold it together without losing themselves, right? And I'm trying to be advocate for health, that even when everything going on, you still can be healthy. Healthy doesn't have to be inconvenient. You still can hustle, you can still be busy, but there's always priority to be healthy, take care of yourself, because like you said, if you cannot you can't pour out of an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself, right? And that was always my priority. So that's what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a brand where to show that you still can hustle. You can still have 7 businesses and be busy, but you don't have to compromise your health. Like, I hope I can show for that, right? So
Yeah.
with everything going on, I still always took care of myself. And I hope that I can be that for other people, a living proof that hustle and health can coexist, and you can get out of that hole of struggle, of survival mode. And that's basically it.
Yeah, it's crazy how we confuse strength with self-abandonment, right? We talk about the grind and how we're working all the time, but not paying any attention to ourselves. And there's, two sides to every coin. Bricks can build walls, but it can also build a prison that we live in. And just kind of talking about our model here, testing. So you've gone out, you've started a couple businesses, you overcame that adversity. I hate to call that section that we just talked about the fail piece, because when you talk about it, it doesn't sound like failure. People in previous episodes, and again, that's the model of the show, talking about failure, but none of it sounds like failure in the way that you framed it. And we are really subject to our own thoughts. We have the opportunity to see the good in every opportunity, because faith and fear always coexist. And it's a choice with everything that happens. We have the choice, we can't control what happens, right? But we can control how we respond to it. So I hate to ask what you've learned through that entire process, because we don't have enough time, but what would you see as some of the key learnings through that valley experience that really stood out to you?
Oh, to your point, I don't believe in failure. Like, I don't actually recognize the word failure at all. For me, failing, I don't even know what failing means, to be honest. Like, for me, anything that happened to me is not a failure. It's just my way to build resilience and being stronger. And I always say that I lived a life of at least 10 people. That's not normal. Like, what I survived, what I went through is not something that average person will go in a lifespan. So for me, even with going all through this, like 3 divorces and suicide and all that stuff, I still would not change a thing, because it really truly made me who I am today. Even though it took 40 years, even though it took all this pain to make me what I am, working with a therapist for a year now and everything. So it's hard to say that what failure taught me, because like I don't believe, like you said, I failed in everything. It was just a life took me in a way where maybe people will say it's failure, because maybe I didn't have to choose what the route I went, right? Maybe I didn't have to choose divorce. Maybe I didn't have to choose moving to America. Maybe I didn't have to choose all that. But I was one step by step choosing all those hardships so I can be better, so I can move to the better life, so I can change and possibly show people where they can change and how they can change, right? So I just start honestly hiding behind the idea that I have to be perfect, that I have to be this something that people respect me, show me how much they love me, whatnot, that love can be unconditional, that love doesn't have to be earned. And you can have a freedom to be just yourself, speak yourself, behave yourself, not to worry what people think, right? And I just start showing up as myself, just who I am. Yeah, I don't speak perfect English. Yeah, I write like Michael one knows. He just said, he comment something like, I don't like messaging or texting type. You just seen how I typed, like I mistake after mistakes, like whatever it is, like it is what it is. It is, I am who I am, right? So I think all that is not a failure. It was just my way to grow up, my way to heal, my way to show up for myself and my kids and see and show them that even through all this, I chose to be me, authentically me. Like I'm not going to be pretending that I didn't go through it or it didn't happen, because in my culture it's a big no. You don't share your stories, especially bad stories. And like my dad is not alive now, but I think if he would be really ashamed of me that I'm just airing dirty laundry out there, right? So yeah, I just show up messy, driven, strong, just myself today.
This is a massive shift, honestly, that most people don't make, right? And what I'm hearing is you're saying this made me stronger, these experiences. But one key point you made also is that the therapist over the last year has helped you through it. And so we don't have to carry things alone. That's why we started the House of Bricks community or any other community out there. When you get with people that are on the same frequency as you with shared goals and vision, you don't have to go alone. It's okay to be independent, but you don't have to be alone. And it sounds like not only did you start telling the truth to other people, you started telling the truth to yourself. And I know we both spend some good amount of time on LinkedIn. There isn't much more fiction than the things I read on LinkedIn. And the people that I'm interested in connecting with are the ones that talk about the failures, because success in life, it doesn't teach us anything. It really doesn't. We learn through failure. We learn through adversity, and your resilience is something you've learned through experience. You can't read about resilience in a book. It has to be life experience, and that's really what builds our strength. So, and you and I kind of share that same thing, right? We didn't build our lives from a textbook. I dropped out of college after my freshman year, and all of my business experience and success has been based on testing, failing, learning, and growing. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about the growth portion of it. And a lot of people don't even take that first step to test. That's the first mistake people make, is to not even start. And you're talking about building your personal brand. I always tell people, start before you're ready, because you never are. And then some people stop at the failure portion. It doesn't work out and they just quit. Or they fail and fail and fail and fail and refuse to learn. So you tested, you failed, you learned. And out of that now is massive growth with 7 businesses, about to start building your personal brand. What are some of the key things that you think on this side of the transformation? And what does life look like now? What are some of the key differences you see?
I would say the most important, honestly, energy shift. Just like you said, it's not important just to be honest with others. I think the most important is to be honest with yourself, because we are very good as a human beings lying to ourselves, because we don't want to go where it hurts. We don't want to go where we can see that it's possibly our fault with what we do and what we feel and how we react and act. It's easy to blame someone for what's happening to you, right? So like you said, I worked with tons of therapists through my life, and it never worked. It never was really efficient, because I was never ready to open up truly to myself and tell myself, wait a second, that's me of my own doing, what's happening around me. So when I really a year ago got a therapist, and I do have to say I got a Russian therapist, because somebody who understands where I came from communist country, from Russian culture, helped amazingly huge ways. Like I couldn't connect with American because I couldn't explain how you're supposed to get up at 6 in the morning as a 6-year-old and walk by yourself to like a kindergarten, right? You can't explain those things to American. So working with a therapist and truly, truly digging deep, that was painful, and really opening your eyes, that's where your energy starts shifting. That's where you're realizing that you're the own creator of your own reality, to be honest. And once you start shifting that, that's when you start healing, that you start rewiring your brain, really looking at triggers, really looking at your childhood and everything. So once you start healing and once you start accepting for who you are, just as you are, with your own problems, with your own mistakes, I think the right people come into your life, right? So even me coming, being on a LinkedIn that I've never been on for, just, I've been only on LinkedIn a few months, and just attracting right people like, like you and other people who I met, really amazing people like Laura and Teresa and and Michael, like so much support. And I realized that how many people actually right now coming into my life who I'm attracting now versus those broken people who before was coming to my life. Now I attract really healthy people, right? So like now I met a wonderful person who I'm dating right now, and he's just healthy, and I don't know what to do with it, to be honest. Like, it's a first healthy relationship where I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop and it's not dropping. I'm like, what do I do with that, right? So that's where you're supposed to be open and honest with yourself. And really, I think naturally, your life just going to start naturally changing because you just attract different energy. And I think what's it about, like, just start being honest with yourself, like where's the hurt truly is and it's coming from.
And one thing I want to clarify on something you said also is, because some people have that pride, like finding out who I really am, but also we're a product of our circumstances and upbringing. So fault doesn't really matter. It's the story you've lived to a certain point, and the therapist or whoever, a coach, advisor, a community member, can help you realize that things may not be your fault, right? It's not your choice where you grow up. It's not your choice in who your parents are. You're not always your choice in the adversity you face in life. So take the pride out of it, but it's that self-reflection, and it's very difficult for us to see kind of inside of ourselves, because as defense mechanisms, we put up blinders that protect us throughout our childhood and life. But once you unlock that and open up your eyes, then you can really step into who you are. And it seems like you're in that place, and we never arrive in life. There's more and more chapters to be written. So I can't wait to hear more of your story. So, but really, everyone in life, we're all kind of chasing that success, but what we're really after is wholeness. And we talked about this last week with Laura. Happiness, I don't even really know what that means. We just want to be content. We want wholeness, and it's a constant pursuit. So before we wrap up, I just want to talk about a couple of things for the people that are listening that resonate with me. It was, number one, your big promise. You really don't have to choose between being strong and being whole. And vulnerability is not a weakness. You can choose both. And it's through that vulnerability where we can build a beautiful life out of those broken parts. And secondly, is why this all matters to us is a lot of times we're drowning quietly and we hide it in success. I've learned in life, the more successful you are, the further you can keep people away. And it's a great defense mechanism to stay busy and keep building. And we talk about that, but we really want to start with building ourselves. And the more we invest in ourselves, the more we can invest in other people. So Marina, any closing thoughts for our listeners today?
Yeah, you just brought something really, really good.
Thank you. Don't sound so surprised.
I never do. I love how you said that you have to love yourself first. Honestly, this is the biggest lesson I ever took from all 4 years of my struggle. Like, you can't love someone who doesn't love themselves, first of all. And second of all, if you love yourself truly, then other people's actions and opinions doesn't matter, because you know who you are. You know who you are in wholeness, right? It's like nobody can hurt you if you truly love yourself. So I really love that what you said, and I really wish that for everyone, where they find that strength to open take all their mistakes and hurts, put a pride aside, and truly start loving themselves for who they are, with all the baggage, with all the hurt, with all the pain, just for who they are.
I love that. And so everyone, want to thank everyone for tuning in today. And if you are in that season of carrying too much, trying to do it all, wondering if you have what it takes to rebuild, but you need to know that you don't always need to do more. You need to let go of more. And that's where the healing is going to begin. That's where the real power starts. And this is what Test, Fail, Learn, Grow is all about. And if you want to ask Marina questions or connect with people similar to her, we are hopping over to our House of Bricks community call. And I know the purpose of these is not to get people into our community, but these are the type of people that are there that have great stories, believe in relationship capital, understanding that there is power in community, and we're here to help and build with each other. So building anything great is messy, as Dan Gilbert always said, and that's what we're all about here at Test, Fail, and Grow. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and next week I will not be here. I'm going to the Dominican Republic with my 18-year-old son on spring break, and somehow I was chosen as a chaperone. So
trouble.
That is trouble, but he promised to keep me in line. So thanks again for joining. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks. And next week, I do want you to join anyway, because Paul from my team is interviewing a fellow veteran, and it is going to be an awesome show. Thanks, everybody.